into another edition of Braves Central. Chris Dimino and Barrett Sallee with you, getting you ready for the week of Braves baseball. The Angels are in town. A big week, obviously, for the Atlanta Braves after a disappointing weekend series against the Phillies. So, interesting today, Didier Fuentes not starting. Grant Holmes moves up a day. A rest thing for you, Chris, or is it just taking Fuentes out of a big role?
So I don't know. First game of the series, is that really what it is? My first question was, I wonder if this is really a legitimate swap this day for this day, or is there something else maybe going on? Because something else to me means, is there anybody in the minors who lines up tomorrow but didn't line up today, and Fuentes is not going to get the start? We're doing this Tuesday afternoon before BP and press conferences and all that stuff that comes pregame for the Angel series. I think Brian Snitker probably will have to address it. Now, whether he tells the whole truth, it doesn't matter. They don't have to. They don't have to announce definitively. Sure. I would say write Fuentes in pencil, and maybe he gets the start, but maybe there's something else. Then my mind really wandered. What if there was a trade?
That's what I thought,
what if there was something that paperwork has to be processed, we got to make sure, blah, blah, blah. So maybe that's why Grant Holmes is going today. I will probably lean towards Fuentes goes tomorrow, and this is just sort of a flip-flop. But there is part of me that says maybe it's not that simple.
It's more fun if, a trade's in the mix. For us to talk about, it's like, okay, something's got to happen. No, but I'm with you. My first thought was, okay, push him back, or somebody in the minor leagues is going to set up and start tomorrow, send Fuentes down. Obviously, Fuentes is not ready for Major League Baseball and pitching against some of these guys. His location hasn't been great. Fastball plays. I mean, I think we know that, but he's not ready for this, nor should we have expected him to be ready for this. But we have the Angels in town. Good to see Travis d'Arnaud going to be back. We'll see Jorge Soler. Obviously, a lot of our thoughts and prayers with Ron Washington. He was supposed to be here as well. But some familiar faces with the Angels, and an Angels team that is sort of like in the Braves in the sense that they've had some highs, they've had some lows, and now they're just kind of medaling around 500 for a team that really, I think, is kind of surprised to be at that point right now.
So the Angels, they obviously, before we got to the schedule that we have now, the Angels just didn't feel like they came into town very much. And if it was Ohtani, and if it was Trout, and certainly when Albert left St. Louis and came there, you go, oh, this is an interesting team. There are guys here that I'd like to see play. Mike Trout is going to play, and I have a couple of numbers on him. I'll just do them now. Mike Trout has missed 459 games due to injury in his career. So start doing the math. 162, that's a lot of games. That is a lot of games that he's missed. Somebody asked the question about Tiger Woods a few months ago, and it was certainly a big thing on sports talk radio throughout the country. Do you agree that Tiger Woods had an underachieving career? And I think Mike Trout is probably the baseball version of that. There's injuries, and there's stuff, and there's life happens, and then there's stuff, and then there's more injuries. The point is, he's going to walk into the Hall of Fame, but he's not really at a place that he would have been. Do you know how many home runs? I did this earlier today. Do you know how many home runs Mike Trout has hit? Just guess. No.
315.
391.
Okay.
But he doesn't have 1,000 RBI, and he's missed 459 games. His hits aren't really where you would think they would be. It's not that it's like Tiger Woods. It's not that he didn't accomplish things that not many accomplish. It's, oh, God, what would have been? Therefore, I think what people had a problem with his underachieving is an injury thing, an underachievement, or did you fat your way out, lazy your way out, drink your way out, whore your way out, whatever it might be. So I think that's where the word underachieving comes into play. Mike Trout, it's not possible for him to have the numbers that I would have thought 5 years in he was going to have.
Yeah.
Because your trajectory gets changed, and boy, did his get changed by a lot of things, including a bone bruise this year that everybody said was flukish.
Yeah. Well, it'll be great to see him because I do believe when the Angels played 3 years ago, Shohei was here, but Mike Trout was not. And I think the last time he was out also, can't remember what year that was, but I don't believe we've ever seen him at Truist Park as a member of the Angels. So it'll be fun to see him. A lot of fans around here, they know him, but they don't really, it's different to actually see him
Well,
play.
I'm going to tell you how you don't know him, because he's also not been in enough playoff games.
That's true.
There are certain guys you're going to look and you go, oh, you know what was underachieving? Him having a national stage. And while Artie Moreno spent a bunch of money, there's just been no national stage. Felix Hernandez was a guy, and I say this about Paul Skeens. When I or somebody suggests, hey, you really have to think about trading him, There's a point where nobody who lived in Seattle was ever paying to see Felix Hernandez pitch because he was pitching. It will happen with Paul Skeens in Pittsburgh. Everybody that's wanted to see him will have paid to see him. He might be a bigger attraction on the road. But if you're not getting gate and you're not getting wins, what are you really getting except you're waiting for the day that he blows out? Because that's unfortunately the thing with pitchers now. Ohtani in Los Angeles, the Angels version, not having anything happen. Pujols not having anything happen. Trout not having anything happen. You go, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Now, Mike Trout hit a home run the other day, but I don't think he had hit one since June 7th. So what he is not that guy, but I still think he's like an all-timer where you go, you're going to be able to say that you saw him play in person if you get a chance to see him play in person.
So Profar comes back tomorrow. We don't know what the pitching situation is. Hopefully we'll find that out here tonight at some point. But it's a different kind of situation for Brian Snitker because this is the guy who was supposed to be the missing piece, the guy who, when all is said and done, he was going to round out the roster. And obviously things changed in a hurry with him. I think there's no room to just sort of mess around. Wherever you think Profar should be, Profar should be. But Brian Snitker did say after the game 2 days ago that I think he said Matt Olson in number 2 is a real thing. I think that was his phrase, a real thing. So Matt's going to bat number 2. I don't think that was the plan initially, but Profar needs to come back. He needs to apologize to his teammates, whether he's done that or not already. And he better come off hot because to me, this is the last shot offensively. There's nothing more that you can do if you're the Braves except make a trade.
Yeah. So I'm just checking. I was listening, Braves.com, to find out if I was the Braves, and I don't even know if he's allowed to, would he be allowed to address the media today, 1 day short? He might not even be allowed to.
I don't think he's allowed to.
Okay. So I mentioned earlier what I think he has to do, not what he has to say, what has to be accomplished. He has to say whatever it is he wants to say well enough. He can decide what it is. That nobody in that clubhouse has asked about him and his suspension again.
Yes.
That's minimal goal. I don't, does he want to admit to anything? Does he have to apologize profusely to anybody? Does he have to cry? You guys sort through that. For me, the one thing that has to be accomplished is he has to say enough. Now, if 5 games in, he's playing well, and you want to ask Matt Olson or Austin Riley about his game? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, do you guys wonder what it might have been had he not been popped? He's got to be so good, or at least efficient in what he does when he addresses the media. The team is a different thing. That's none of my business. They have to accept him. But from a media point of view, he has to make sure that nobody has to answer to him the rest of the year about this subject.
Yeah. Well, it's like what happened with Michael Harris last week when he got benched. He was smart enough and kind enough, and I think
mature enough.
He stood there.
Right.
He took questions from us. I think there were only like 3 or 4 of us around, but he took questions. And like you said, if he didn't do that, we'd be asking Nick Allen about Michael Harris.
The worst thing you can do is
you can't do that.
You want to be a bad teammate, get popped for BEDs. You want to be a worse teammate, don't actually make it where the thumb isn't off of everybody in that room who has to ask about you because you didn't do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I hope it's a one-off. I would do it in the press conference room. I wouldn't do it I know at the locker it looks a little bit more organic. I don't want it to be that. I want it to be a little bit more formal than organic. I think it should be something that visually, this is big. Standing at your locker saying the same exact thing would not have the same impact for me as if you went to the press conference room where the Braves thing is right behind you and you have a responsibility.
Yeah.
Again, don't have to cry, don't have to lie, don't have to hold up a skull like you're Hamlet. I don't need death of a salesman.
That would be fun though.
Yeah, but I don't need any of that stuff. You have to be good enough where nobody's asked about this. None of your teammates are asked about this for the rest of the year.
Yes, and the questions that we would be asking their teammates, what does it feel like to have him back? What kind of player is he? Things that are actually relevant between the white lines, not off the field stuff that really as a teammate you can't address. There's no way to address what Profar was thinking.
What do you think he's feeling right now? I don't know. Go ask him.
Yeah, he's right there.
No, go ask him. I live in a world where go ask him is a real thing.
Yeah.
So he needs to at least be that efficient at whatever it is he does. Maybe it'll be tomorrow. Maybe he's in the lineup tomorrow and they do that. Do it early enough. Let everybody get there. If you want a pound of flesh, get your pound of flesh. If you want 2 ounces, if you just want to have him have his moment and then go play baseball, whatever your agenda is, for me, he has to not be a distraction. And a distraction to me is not being around enough to do the thing tomorrow. And then at the end of every game, let me tell you this, he better be as upstanding as anybody that I've ever seen, good or bad. Get your flowers when you're good. If it's not good for a few games in a row, I'm sorry, people are going to walk up and go, I knew he needed that stuff. They're not going to say that to you, but understand that's going to be some of the attitude.
Oh, yeah.
Fan base, media people, you've got to be mature enough to not have that affect you in the way you play baseball.
Yep, absolutely. Well, this has been Braves Central, 3-game set with the Angels.
Can I give you one more?
Go.
Do you know that we start today, the Angels are 1 game under 500 with a minus 49 run differential? The Braves are how many games under?
I think that's 5 or 6.
6. They're at plus 12. So it's a 61-run swing, and one team is like 2 back in the wild card. The other is like 8 back in the wild card. So location, what league you play in. But if I would have said March 15th, here come the Angels, and I would have said, let me tell you about the Angels. They're closer to first place in their division than you are. They're closer to the wild card spot than you are. You go, in what world? How many planes went down in the American League? You hate to say it, but that would have been what you were thinking. The reality is the Angels, I don't care what you want to use wins and losses. The barometer of who's a better baseball team, more equipped to win more baseball games. The Angels actually have it over the Braves today.
Well, hopefully that changes and the Braves get the job done, at least 2 or 3 over the course of the week. He's Chris Dimino. I'm Barrett Sallee. This has been Brave Central. Don't forget, share, respond, or reply. Give us some feedback, whether it's positive or negative. We want to know what you think.
Yeah, keep the negative stuff to yourself. I got a lot of shit going on right now. I'm in no mood.